So I've been noticing that my forearms have been feeling like disconnected from my bicep and tricep, especially the inner forearm
Mm.
and the outer forearm. It's been really tense here. And so, it's like a pain that I haven't really experienced before.
Mm.
So I try to figure out like what's the problem. And originally I thought it was like maybe I tweaked it playing pickleball. I hit too hard or something. But when I go play pickleball, it doesn't really hurt.
Oh.
And so one of the things I learned is that like in order to figure out the cause of your pain, you have to go to where the pain is actually occurring.
Yeah.
So since the pain was not occurring during pickleball, I knew that the pain was coming from somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I'm sitting in my room in my very ergonomic chair and my ergonomic setup, and I've been sitting for 2 hours. This like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I'm sitting for 2 hours, and I started to feel the exact pain that's been keeping me up at night
Uh.
on my computer. Not when I was playing pickleball, but on my computer. And for the first time, I like looked down from my computer screen, and I noticed that my setup, my left arm is directly in front of me, like very neutral, so there's not tense. But my right hand, because the keyboard's here, the mouse is right over here. So just like a 4 inches, maybe 5 inches away from a neutral position,
Mm.
it's been straining right here.
Oh.
And so what I learned from that is it wasn't pickleball. It wasn't a strong big instance that caused the pain. It was actually just a slight four inch movement away from a resting position where I was sitting in that position for a long period of that time,
Mm.
every day, every week, every month, every year, that's been building up for this tension. And so, what I think I wanted to bring out from that was, I think in life we're always looking for the big problems, the big sins that lead to terrible consequences. But sometimes it's the small things in life
Yeah.
that we do for a long period of time that eventually create an even worse outcome than
Mm.
we thought was possible.
Mm.
So let me bring this in like a spiritual concept. Do you know the story of Joshua?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Man Project and I have been reading the story of Joshua, and eventually the people of Israel conquer the promised land Canaan.
Mm.
And God has been victorious in all their battles.
Mm.
And so at the end of Joshua, there's a time of peace. Everybody's chilling in their inheritance and land. But when we move into the book of Judges, which is right after,
Yeah.
we find that there's one thing that they just tolerated.
Mm.
It was a small thing. And it was very clear that this small thing ends up becoming what the entire book of Judges is about.
Mm.
And the book of Judges' main problem is that the people of Israel are constantly falling into idolatry.
Mm.
So God sends Samson, and then to defeat the idolatry that they have, they overcome it, and then they fall back in. And so this problem of idolatry starts in the book of Judges, chapter 2, where God appears to the people, and he basically says, I brought you out of Egypt.
Mm.
I gave you this land.
Mm.
I haven't broken my covenant with you. And verse 2, yet you have disobeyed me. Why have you done this? I have also said, and this is what they disobeyed, I will not drive them out before you. They will become traps for you, and their gods will become snares to you.
Mm.
And basically, what God is saying is they got rid of almost all of their gods except for like one or two. So it wasn't that they were like worshiping Baal, it wasn't that they were worshiping gods of money and comfort, but they just kind of let it sit in their house. Like the gold statue, they just kind of let it sit in their house. And over time, that thing that existed in their home in the back of their mind, it eventually grew to become the main idol that they worship.
Mm.
So it's the small thing, small idol that they tolerated over a long period of time that eventually becomes the main focus point of
Mm.
of sin. Okay, let me bring that back into how that relates to us.
Yeah.
I feel like we are really good at saying no to big sins. Like, I'm not gonna cheat on my wife. I'm not gonna like kill somebody. I'm not gonna, these are big sins that we're obviously saying no to. But there are small sins that we allow in our lives. For example, for me, and I think this is for everybody, I wake up
Mm.
and I know what I should be doing. I know I should be drinking some water. I know I should be walking. I know I should be stretching. I know I should be reading the word. And I do all those things. But the first thing I do is what do you think it is?
Go on your phone.
It's go on your phone. And it's so small. It's not like I'm like doom scrolling.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm rotting my brain. But it's just like I just gotta check my email. I gotta check, TikTok, how many followers Irene has. I gotta check the little things. And that 1 minute, that 2 minutes, I think eventually inhibits my brain from sitting in the silence. What do you think? Is there stuff in your life that you're like, the small things have become big problems?
Yeah. For me, like, I can think immediately of one, like, physical example and one, like, spiritual example.
Yeah.
So, like, physical, I have really bad posture.
Oh.
But actually, I'm doing it right now. I need to stop. Objective. All right. Posture check. I have a really bad habit, and it's really small, but I have a bad habit of crossing my leg. This is normal. My problem is I always sit like this, but it's now affected everything. So, like, for instance, like if I'm sitting at my desk, right? My computer's here. This is what happens like when I'm working, when I'm playing games, when I'm out, like at a cafe.
Yeah.
Cross my leg.
Right to left.
Right to left. Has to be right to left. I can't do the other way.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But right to left. And this singular problem makes my entire posture bad. I end up hunching.
Yeah, I can see it right now.
Right? I sit like this, right? Another thing is the way I sit at my desk, because I cross my leg, is weird now. So if I sit like this, if my desk is straight, I actually tilts. I sit sideways. And
crossed.
Yeah. And my keyboard and mouse are here.
And that pushes your left forward, huh?
Yeah, and that pushes this forward. And I'm putting a lot more weight on my left hip, and I'm putting no weight on my right hip. When I drive, I don't cross my legs when I drive, obviously, because you can't.
Can't do that.
But like when I drive, I also sit the same way.
Oh, you lean.
I lean like this.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm like this, and that's actually caused like a lot of hip problems. Just this.
Just that.
Just this, and it's to the point now where, like, if I don't sit like that, my hip hurts. If I sit normally, my hip hurts, and it's only my right hip, because I think my right hip is just not used to me putting any weight
on it. That's
and so
crazy.
now, as soon as I sit straight, I can feel it like a little. And if I sit for too long without crossing my leg, like, it starts like tweaking, and like it starts hurting. And then like I get up, I can't like walk that well, whatever. And so,
do you feel that way when you run?
When I run,
because your right hip doesn't know how to absorb energy.
Not in that specific instance. I think my legs are different lengths.
Yeah.
I think my right leg is a little longer than my left, which leads to other problems, like knee problems. But it's helpful for me. The route I run, so I live in like a very hilly area. Yeah. There's a circle that I run, and the circle is around a hill. But I run counterclockwise because it's tilted.
Yeah.
So my right leg is actually fine, because that little minuscule difference helps my right leg stay like up. But when I am done, that's when my hip hurts, because then it's like, oh shoot, I put more weight on it than I'm used to.
Because you've been doing that for the whole run.
Yeah. And so that one for sure sucks, because it's so small of a problem, and it's so habitual for me to just.
Yeah.
But
what's like the spiritual equivalent? Because this is really like just like a small thing, It's just like a little movement, just a little posture.
Yeah. Spiritual equivalent, I guess it's not specifically like only spiritual, but it applies to my spiritual stuff as well, is that I'm really bad with being on time. I always leave, or like something always happens where I'm late, like almost every time. And whether that's late to
For
work,
sure, me too.
whether
Yeah.
that's late to church,
Mm.
whatever it is, I'm never on time.
Mm.
And um, I always tell people, like, if I'm like going somewhere, meeting someone, or like I'm gonna pick something up or someone up, um, I'm always like, hey, like I'll be there soon, or like I'll give them a time,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm always late
Mm-hmm.
because I never leave or I never do anything on time. I
Mm.
always either like it's because I woke up a little
Mm-hmm.
later, or I wanted like an extra 5 minutes of sleep, which ends up not doing anything, or like I um, like just take a little too long to get ready, whatever it is.
I think the crazy part is like we all experience that. Like even today, I met Hyunsu for coffee. I mean, you were early today, or you were right on time.
I'm trying to be better.
Yeah, but I was 5 minutes late, and it's like for I think in our culture, it's like so normal. And obviously, like I expected to arrive on time, but I was late like 4 minutes. But I think before, I always tried to get there early.
Yeah,
But now it's like you're right. I think I just allow it to be like, oh, I'll be either on time or a few minutes late.
yeah. But it's like it comes to the point where I'm late to the things I shouldn't be late to.
Yeah.
But that's because of that tiny habit of like I'm just so used to being late.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be late to like work,
Mm-hmm.
or I shouldn't be late to church, but I am.
Mm-hmm.
And um like yeah, like I live like what 30 minutes from church, but that's not an excuse. You know, like, I should be on time to the things that I need to be on time for,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, definitely bad habit, and it definitely applies to like this more spiritual side, because then I'm late to like my church. Obviously, like being late's not great. um I'm late to like other things, like if I have like a devo time with someone, or if I'm having like a coffee chat with someone for church, whatever it is, dinner plans. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I think it's just so crazy that the little things they kind of permeate throughout your whole day.
yeah, they keep stacking up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think like it kind of compounds. Like I think we talk about how interest compounds, like good things compound, but
mm-hmm.
also the bad things kind of compound. And oh, you're doing it. I'm just kidding. Um, and here's some other examples of. I'll also switch my legs. I think from time to time. I think there's some other ones that maybe our listeners, our church, also struggle with. Um, it is one of the things I wrote down is people tend to delay their Bible reading or prayer.
Mm. Yes.
Um, and and Irene and I are trying to be disciplined in reading the Bible, but it's just like you miss that timing to read at that hour, and then it's like you got to pick it up again, and that's the hard part. I think that you got to pick it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I think is I did write compromise in church attendance, not tardiness,
But like just
but
not go.
just like not going. Like
Yeah.
maybe you woke up late, and then what happens when you wake up late one time is like the next time you're like kind of tired. You're like maybe I'll just sleep in again. Particularly, people probably struggle with Fridays, like coming to church on Fridays, especially because we don't meet on the first Friday. So I think maybe that builds a habit of not coming second, third, fourth. Another one is this is more a little abstract, but sometimes I feel like people fall into slight dishonesty.
Oh yeah.
It's just like tiny white lies, tiny
Yeah.
exaggerations that aren't that big. You know, it's a
Yeah.
little MSG, but you get kind of used to the MSG,
Yeah.
and like you can't cook without the MSG. And so I think for me, the problem with slight dishonesty is that it leads us to be unable to say the truth.
Yeah.
One more example I'll give, and I think it's because like I think our church struggles with it, but it's uncontrolled speech.
Yeah.
Uncontrolled speech. I think it's like you just say what you want to say and you don't care about it. You don't care about how the other person's feeling, the social parameters of that, and then later on, like you end up saying something outlandish.
Yeah.
And like it might cause a fight, or someone might judge you for it. And you know, here's the point: is that like when my pain happened in my elbow, like I think I was initially frustrated. Like I'm gonna be honest, at the weak body that God has given me. That was my first reaction.
Mm.
And I think that's like so bad. I thought it was when I had to repent because I was like, what am I doing blaming God for?
Yeah.
the second I found out it was my fault, that's when like everything switches. Because I was like, it wasn't God's fault. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was my lack of awareness of this thing. So here's what I think we need to do, and in order to stop the small things, and this applies directly to the people of Israel in the time of Joshua and Judges, which is, they say it all the time. You have to put away all of your idols. That one idol that you have, you got to put it away. And instead, and the thing is, like, absence, like a void, is very hard. But therefore, what you need to do is not just remove your idols, but turn to God. So remove this idol, like remove this negative, toxic thing, and fill your life with the positive, good thing. That's like kind of the general lesson here. So, for example, for me, when I figured out that it was my keyboard just too long, and my mouse is over here, the first thing I did was, I asked ChatGPT what to do, but it gave me the solution to buy a different keyboard that is smaller. And the problem with buying a new keyboard is that, like, I'm so used to the old keyboard. I'm so fast at typing. This new keyboard is smaller. I'm not used to it. The command shifts, everything's a little different. The way that it punches is different. It makes me uncomfortable. And so I've only had it for a day now. And here's where I think, like, here's what I've been telling myself, and here's what you need to tell yourself too, is once you remove the bad thing and you fill it with something good, you have to stick to the good thing until you get used to it. Until that new keyboard gets comfortable. Because once I get comfortable with the keyboard, now not only do I not have pain, but I could write just as fast. And so here's what I think I'm trying to say. Like, you're gonna have to, for the people who are waking up early in the morning and immediately checking their phone, you have to just go take a walk. And in the beginning, it's gonna be uncomfortable. But if you do that day after day, week after week, eventually you're gonna love going on that walk. And here's a key point: you have to wait until you enjoy that discipline, until that discipline is good for you, because that's when everything kind of clicks together. Like, you made a good decision. What about you? What do you think for your maybe your posture or your tardiness? Like, how can you remove something bad and fill it with good, and hold on to that discipline?
I think for like my posture,
Yeah.
it's definitely like, I've thought of a couple like alternatives or like some solutions. One is what I like to call my posture check. I've been thinking about this. I haven't done it yet, but it's like having like an alarm or something that goes off every like every like so often. That basically is like a reminder to posture check, to sit up, to stop crossing your legs, to sit straight, to do the things I need to do to stop being in pain.
Like a check.
Yeah.
Like a reminder.
Yeah, a reminder.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I know at the beginning I'm gonna get annoyed.
Right.
Like, this alarm keeps going off. But then, like, in order for me to stop having it, I just stop doing it. I just stop like crossing my legs. I start sitting straight, start like good back, like legs aren't crossed, whatever. Then eventually, like, I won't have that issue anymore, and then I won't need the alarm.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think in terms of like time or anything spiritual, I think my opinion is that I think the reason like non-Christians struggle so much with replacing small habits like that is because they have nothing to replace it with. So stuff like, I don't know, maybe like smoking or like drinking, like, the reason it's so hard for them to quit is because after they don't have that, they have nothing else.
Yeah.
For us, we have God. We have so many things to fill our lives with instead of whatever like small habitual like things that you have in your life. And so I think like what we like to call it in like KCM the KCM community is like being stretched.
Mm.
You are taken, and then you are stretched, and then eventually you get used to being stretched like that to where you are able to grow,
Right.
and then you get stretched again, and then
Mhm.
you're able to grow. In terms of like tardiness or like time, it's like my being stretched is just being ready earlier and leaving earlier.
Mm.
Once I'm able to leave earlier, then I'll be on time. And then eventually when I'm on time, I can start being early to things and being ready for things.
Mm.
So that involves waking up even earlier or getting ready even earlier and then being out of the house even earlier. And then I'll have like a leeway for me to not be late.
Yeah.
I'll have even more time, and then I can do more things in my day, like, oh, maybe I can go run errands before, or maybe I can like go to get coffee before church. And then that way I'll be able to stay awake. Small little things, like, it's not that I struggle being awake at church. I think I'm fine. But like,
It's like a new rhythm.
yeah,
I think you said something really important, like for the Christian. I feel like the answer, like, what am I going to fill this emptiness if I quit this bad thing with? I think you said, like, ultimately for the Christian, the answer is always God.
Mhm.
Whereas for the atheist, like, it's tough because they don't know what to fill it with. And obviously there are other answers, but the Christian is blessed because God is the answer to everything. So for example, I think like if you are late to church, this is just like your example, late to church, it's not just like you should be on time. I think you can be early to spend a few minutes with God.
Mhm.
And that's like a new rhythm where like you get coffee and do a little devotional and then come early, or you come early to say hi to God's people, or you just sit in the back in silence with God. And I think that will make your earliness like something you look forward to,
Mhm.
where it's not just like building a habit, but you're sitting in the presence of God.
Mhm.
So actually, I think that's like a very good principle for anybody who like actually cares about what we're saying right now.
Yeah.
Is remove the bad things and fill it with God. For me, like I think I want to start like waking up and not just looking at my stocks, not that I have a lot, but it's my stocks or Instagram or
Whatever.
any whatever. I think I want to remove that, and either I want to go on a walk with Irene or just stretch and breathe until I can get my mind to wake up to read the Bible with God. Because it's like either I see creation with where God's presence is, or I get myself primed to read the Bible.
Mhm.
And so I think that's a good conclusion for anybody listening. Remove your idols and turn back to God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think like similarly too, like one thing that I was practicing a lot on missions was small prayers, little prayers. Prayer is like inevitably supposed to be a conversation between you and God, but like there are a lot of times, even like here, where you're just like tired or you're like hungry, and I think a lot of times, especially because we are in a first world country where it's easy to solve those things, we're just like we just fall into it. We're like, oh, I'm so tired, and then you start complaining. One thing I've been working on is like small little prayers, getting into the habit of being like, God, I'm so tired, please give me energy.
Yeah.
Instead of, God, I'm so tired, and you just sit there.
Mm.
And so I think like, yeah, the solution to small little problems is small little solutions.
Oh, I like that.
And so like getting into the habit of solving those things with God. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that concludes our episode today. Okay.
Thanks for watching.